We're four friends who live across the globe
and share a love of Bon Appétit's YouTube channel.
So we came together to bring you our thoughts on what BA serves up.
And try our hands at recreating their dishes.
Welcome to Pod Appétit!
Hey, do you like getting caught in the rain? Or maybe the feel of the ocean and the taste of champagne? You might also like Piña Coladas. Yes, it's Meg, and I'm here bringing you my first individual episode. And unlike Brad, I cannot resist a reference to that Piña Colada song. So there we go. We've got it out of the way. I am going to be making Bon Appétit's best Piña Coladas. One reason why I chose this video and this recipe is that I'm a big fan of mixed drinks in general, and I recently got a Vitamix blender, so I've been super stoked to try frozen cocktails in particular. My husband was very excited to get the Vitamix blender to make smoothies for us in the morning, whereas I was like, no, mixed drinks. So we have very different priorities. I especially like piña coladas because I'm just a big fan of pineapple and coconut flavors in general. And it's also a very islandy, beachy summer drink in my mind. Mai Tais are still my favorite beach drink, but piña coladas are a close second. Until very recently, I had never tried to make a piña colada myself at home. Most of the piña coladas I've had have been at the local movie theater where they have those large slushy machines that they just sort of pour out of a tap. And I don't know why, but I keep getting those almost every single time I go to the movie theater. And they're not very good, and they're overly sweet, and they get really watery really fast. So I thought, hey, why don't I try an actually good piña colada? So before trying Bon Appétit's recipe, I had tried a different recipe that I wasn't entirely satisfied with. And I think one reason why I wasn't satisfied with it was that I may have modified it too much. Another difference between my husband and I is that he has no sweet tooth whatsoever. He literally hasn't had a dessert in over 7 years, whereas I love sweets. So the last time I made piña coladas, I didn't add any sort of extra sugar. I thought the pineapple alone would be sweet enough since it's a very sweet fruit, but the end result definitely needed more sugar content. So I think one of the mistakes in my last attempt was that I used Trader Joe's unsweetened coconut cream, whereas that might have been an opportunity to add some sugar into the recipe. So anyway, I am going to watch the video of Brad making BA's best piña coladas one more time, and then I'm going to attempt the recipe, and I'm pressing play now. Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. There's nothing better than feeling like you've earned a nice cold drink on the beach, like how Brad describes. Yum. So I'm really appreciating these tips he's giving here about how to find a ripe pineapple. I never knew these things before. He says to really go by feel and by smell, that it should be soft and fragrant, and that some of the inner leaves should pull off easily. Okay, now Brad is talking about the Coco Lopez cream of coconut. And I think that this is the not so secret ingredient, because the BA piña colada recipe is really not that dissimilar to the last piña colada recipe I made. But the key difference here being that the one I made before called for coconut cream, and this one calls for cream of coconut, which I thought was maybe the same thing. Apparently not. The little editorial here in the video says cream of coconut is coconut cream with added sugar. So that really explains, I think, why my last recipe didn't work so well. The coconut cream was very thick and almost kind of waxy, I would say. And just looking at this video here, I can tell that it's a totally different thing, the Coco Lopez. It looks smooth and liquidy and syrupy. And as Brad mentions, it has that added sugar, which I think will make it taste great. So yeah, I think that this is the key to the piña colada recipe. No booze, Brad. It's like you don't even know me. Come on. I like how they add the little island tune every time Brad has the blender going. Nice touch. Give it a little stirry stir. I'll have to be sure to give it a little stirry stir when I make it myself. Brad's mentioning now that he has some alternative ingredients that he adds sometimes, like mint and banana. I could see how those would be good, but I'm going to stick to the traditional when I make it. Maybe I'll add these modifications next time. Those tiki glasses are so cute. I need a tiki glass. Why don't I have a tiki glass? Oh, look at the way he cuts that lime for garnish. I've never seen that done before. It looks like it sits on the rim a little bit prettier. I'll have to try that. I think the dark rum float is a must as well. He keeps calling it a dark rum floater. I've only ever heard it called a float. Am I wrong here? Am I crazy? Anyway, you don't have to do the dark rum floater? Yes, you do, Brad. Brad, booze. Apparently it's so friggin' delicious that it's making Molly curse, so it must be good. Tastes like boozy sunscreen. Delicious. Apparently Gabby's a girl after my own heart too, taking the entire piña colada with her. Yes. Brad ends the video by saying that everyone loves a piña colada. It's a great way to capture the summer, and I could not agree more. So let's get to it. Next, I'll be heading to the kitchen to whip up some piña coladas. All right, so now I'm going to prepare the pineapple for the piña coladas. And that was a lot of plosives. I'm glad I have my pop filter. So in the recipe, it says to freeze the pineapple for at least 3 hours. And in the video, Brad suggested that it would be good to freeze it overnight because then it will give you that really nice frozen smooth consistency to the drink. So I think I'm going to cut the pineapple today, pop it in the freezer, and probably make the drinks tomorrow. I think I need a bigger knife. Okay, I cut off the top and the bottom, so now I'm going to start. In the video, Brad said to look for a pineapple that was a little bit soft and a little bit fragrant, and that was an indicator that it was ripe. And he also said sometimes the leaves come off easily if it's a ripe pineapple. I guess this one was a little bit fragrant. It didn't feel particularly soft, but some of the inner leaves did come off pretty easily. I'm worried this might be a little underripe, like a lot of produce at Trader Joe's. You know, you buy avocados at Trader Joe's if you want to make guacamole a month from now. But what do I know? It looks pretty juicy, which he said was another indicator of a ripe pineapple. So I'm going to start cutting into it now. Oh, it smells so good. I wish you guys could smell this. I think it's definitely ripe. Okay, I've cut off the eyes. I think I might have been a little bit aggressive in cutting into the flesh. I only need half of the pineapple according to the recipe, but I think I'm going to cut up the whole thing because I was a little bit more liberal in my cutting than Brad was. Now I'm cutting it into quarters and getting the core out. Is this some good ASMR? Should we have an ASMR side channel? I don't know. I'm not an expert. Brad said to do nice bite-sized chunks that will blend up nice. Oh yeah, nice and juicy. Can you hear that? So squishy. Oh my gosh, I haven't even sampled the pineapple yet. What am I doing? Oh yeah. Super pineapple-y. All right, that's all chopped up. It's going in the Ziploc bag to put in the freezer now. So yeah, that was fairly easy. I think I should have used a bigger cutting board, but it all went pretty smoothly overall. Only took me about 5 minutes. And yeah, I will be back soon to finish the piña coladas. But first, one more piece of pineapple. Oh yeah. Apologies to anyone who has misophonia. All right, it's day 2 and I'm ready to make some piña coladas. I feel like Claire on Gourmet Mix saying it's day 2. I've got my pineapple frozen and ready to go, so I'm gonna put that in the Vitamix blender. All right, next is the fresh lime juice, which I already squeezed, and I realized I don't have a citrus reamer or juicer or anything like that. So I just had to squeeze it by hand. I think that this podcast is going to make me purchase a lot of those little kitchen gadgets that I've sort of haven't felt were totally necessary until now. Oh, a little tip for juicing limes. If you roll the lime firmly on the countertop before you cut into it, it kind of breaks apart the cells inside and releases some of the juice without making any sort of mess, so that by the time you cut it and juice it, it's actually a lot easier. Now I'm adding the unsweetened coconut milk, which smells great. Very coconutty. Next, I'm putting in the white rum. I just chose Trader Joe's brand. If anyone has any recommendations for a good white rum, I'd love to hear it. Please let me know. It suddenly dawned on me that I am making this full batch just for myself. I probably should have scaled it down, or I don't know, Invited a friend over or something. I guess we'll see if this keeps in any way. All right, next is a sweetened cream of coconut. I did end up buying the Coco Lopez as Brad recommended. Already I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing. This is a lot thinner than the cream of coconut I used before. The other cream of coconut was much firmer, almost solid. I think this is going to blend up a lot nicer. And then the ice. Now let's get blending. Oh yeah, very nice. Now that's going to go in the freezer for about 25 to 35 minutes. I'll be back soon. Okay, the Piña Colada mixture has been freezing for a good 30 minutes, which means it's time to give it one final blend. Oh yeah, that's looking nice and smooth and frosty, kind of like a milkshake like Brad described. I think it's ready to go. Let's pour it into this cute pineapple glass I have. If I weren't drinking this all by myself, I might add some more white rum at this point, but I'm just going to go ahead with how it is now. Okay, time for the optional, but not really optional at all, float of dark rum. I've chosen the Kraken Black Spiced Rum. I really like this brand, mostly because of the label. It's got a really cool Kraken illustration, and the bottle is sort of in a jug shape. Anyway, I really like it. Oh, and it tastes good too. I finished it off with one more little blop of Piña Colada to give it that nice peak. And now I'm going to garnish it with maraschino cherries, a little slice of pineapple that I saved with the eyes still on it because I thought that would look nice, and also lime, which I've attempted to cut the way that Brad did, all fancy-like, plus a little bamboo skewer. All right, the lime didn't turn out how I wanted it to, so I just ended up going with the traditional garnishing method. So now it's all garnished. It looks beautiful. I will be sharing photos on probably our Instagram and our website, so keep an eye out for this gorgeous creation. Now the moment of truth to see if it tastes as good as it looks. Cheers and bon appetit. Oh yeah, that turned out so well. The consistency is wonderfully smooth and creamy. It really is like a milkshake with dairy in it, even though there's no dairy in here at all. The pineapple really comes through. It's neither too pineapple-y nor too coconutty. Great, wonderful balance. I'm so happy that I got that Coco Lopez. It really did solve all the problems I had before. It has the perfect amount of sweetness. It's not too cloyingly sweet. There aren't any chunks of solidified or unblended coconut cream. It's beautiful. It's smooth and delicious. Molly was right. It really is like boozy sunscreen in the best way possible. No question, I would make this recipe again. They weren't kidding when they called it BA's best. It's so good. I think really the only change I'd make is that I might add a little bit more pineapple, or I might try one of Brad's alterations like adding banana or mint. But I don't know. I like this classic straightforward pineapple coconut flavor blast. All right, so next I'm going to get one of the other ladies on the line and debrief with her about my experience and let her know what she's missing with this beautiful cocktail. I'm back, and this time I have with me the lovely Amanda.
Hello.
So I feel like Amanda and I are going to be the resident mixed drink makers of Pod Appétit.
We're the booze hounds.
Yeah, we are, for sure. So Amanda was telling me how you make sort of specialty cocktails for your parties, ones that you've created yourself.
Yeah, I do. I almost feel like there has to be something like hereditary in my family with like wanting to make mixed drinks, because my Uncle Jeff does the same thing. He actually took a bartending class in college though.
Nice.
I just mix things until it tastes good and then continue to reproduce it.
So I wanted to know, Amanda, what's your general opinion about Piña Coladas? Do you love them? Are you just sort of meh about them?
I feel like I'm a little meh about them, but I kind of want to try like this recipe. I feel like I want to fly out to the Bay Area and drink Piña Coladas with you and like see what that's like, because I feel like I've mostly only had, I don't know, kind of shitty restaurant ones.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I don't know that I've ever actually had like a homemade one or a high quality one. Like I feel like I've more had along the lines of like happy hour, half price ones when it's like those and daiquiris are half price right now or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So have you ever made them before?
I have not.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm really bad at creating my own recipes, which is why I was so excited to try BA's Best Piña Colada. And as you've just heard, dear listeners, I think it turned out excellent. And I can definitely say I would make it again. It's the best Piña Colada recipe that I've personally made, although I've only made 2, so I guess that's not saying a whole heck of a lot. But when I first recorded my reaction, I kept thinking to myself, this tastes so familiar. I can't put my finger on what this reminds me of. But in the meantime, I was able to figure it out. And this tastes exactly like a boozy Dole Whip. Have you had a Dole Whip before, Amanda?
No, what is that?
So I feel like this is a very specific reference, and I apologize because you can really only get Dole Whip in Disneyland or Disney World.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not widely found in many places. But so Dole Whip is Dole pineapple, this whipped frozen drink, and it's really nice and creamy tasting, even though there's no real dairy in it, and it's just so like fluffy and kind of frothy. And I feel like this Piña Colada recipe definitely hit those same notes.
That makes sense, because when I watched the video, like Brad kept talking about frothiness like the whole time. So that makes sense. Like, and when he was like putting it back in the freezer and stuff, did you do that? Did you like go back and refreeze while you like got the cups ready or whatever?
Yeah, I did refreeze, and it definitely gave it that sort of milkshake quality that he described.
Ooh,
and
okay.
It was even, I would say mine turned out possibly thicker than his did. I might have added a little bit more rum perhaps to make it less thick. I think that would be a good solution to thickness. And also I made the whole batch, and so there was a lot left over, and it actually kept very well in the freezer. So refreezing it and then taking it out again when I wanted more and blending it up once more to get that sort of slushy feeling to it, that worked really well too. So I do think that you could keep this for a while in the freezer.
That's cool. Did your husband drink any with you, or did he make you drink solo?
So he was actually out of town when I made it. So so I felt like even more of a booze hound because I was just like, oh, I've just made a full recipe for myself. But I enjoyed it. And if I make it again, which I think I will, I mentioned this before that I thought maybe I'd add more pineapple. I would definitely add more pineapple next time. Just it had a really good balance of coconut and pineapple flavor, but the coconut was maybe a little bit more forward than I wanted it to be. I feel like I needed just a little bit more pineapple, and that might have added a little bit more sweetness too. And I would add maybe a touch more lime juice. I didn't really get any sort of citrusy, limey notes to it at all.
So you wanted some more of that.
Yep.
What do they always say?
Brightness, yeah, definitely. Brightness, zestiness. But yeah, I followed the recipe pretty much exactly when doing it. So those are the slight modifications I think I would make next time.
Yeah. Did it taste like sunscreen in the best way to you?
It really did. It's like if you take the scent of sunscreen and just sort of imagine what that would taste like. I do think Molly had a point there for sure.
I love your extra dollop of the Piña Colada on top of the dark rum floater, because it almost looks like a flower or like a star to me. Like, I thought it looked beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I actually really liked that tip from the video to do the float and then add a little bit more. I probably wouldn't have thought to do that if they hadn't mentioned it in the video. And it really does give it that nice sort of finishing touch.
I think that's a really good point, because when I've ordered this or something similar, like in a restaurant, they will often do the dark rum floater, but not the little extra on top of it. So I think that's a really cool touch.
So if you were to make this Piña Colada, would you use the optional dark rum float? I don't think it's optional at all. I think that it's mandatory.
Oh, definitely. I mean, part of it too, I'm all for rum, but it also, I really like the color contrast of it.
Oh, yeah.
Because Piña Coladas are such a light drink. You always think of, even like when you have like those suckers that are Piña Colada, you know what I'm talking about? Like the little dum-dum suckers.
Yep.
Like they're always slightly off-white. So I like that dark rum just to like give it a contrast and make the drink look more interesting.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that before, but that's a good point. Definitely adds a little bit more visual appeal. I just wish that I had had some mini umbrellas on hand, but I did not. You know what? I tried to cut the lime the way that Brad did in the video. I had never seen that before.
Me either. I was so confused.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that looks clever. But then I tried, and I don't know if I just did it wrong or what, but the lime did not sit right on the rim of the glass. So I just went with the traditional way that I know how. So
yeah. Well, it looked almost like he peeled it, but not quite.
It was like he was cutting along the rind, but not fully through it, was my impression.
Okay.
I think we need a video of him demonstrating this in a little bit more in detail.
I did watching that video think like, what is this knife magic that he's just blowing past for like with no explanation?
He's like, just do this, bop, bop, bop. And it's like, no, I need details. I thought it was a pretty fun BA video, which was another reason why I wanted to do this one.
Yeah.
Love Brad.
Yeah, I think at this point our listeners are probably aware that we're Brad fans.
Amanda especially, yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Pod Appétit, a Bon Appetit fan cast.
We'd love to hear from you, so find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest at pod_appetit.
And on Facebook at Pod Appétit Podcast.
You can also email us at podappetitpodcast@gmail.com and find all of our episodes on our website, podappetitpodcast.com.
Until next time, the test kitchen is closed.
In a world of what are yous, welcome to the place where the answer is always human. My name is Natalie, and I'm the host of Some Kind of Brown. I was born and bred in the southern Bible Belt of the US, and if you know anything about the South, growing up multiracial was some kind of an experience. Join me in this community where I share my stories, am joined by guests who share their own, and talk about pop culture events that affect us as mixed people. You can find Some Kind of Brown on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and most places you find podcasts. I'll see you there with some more shades of brown.